Hi, I'm Bill Callahan from Connect Your Community, and this is another one of our short Zoom conversations with people from Cleveland who've been involved in fighting to close the digital divide for a long time, long before COVID. And this is a Digital Inclusion Week 2020 conversation about the way that the COVID emergency has changed the work that we do and the communities that we live in as far as internet connectivity and digital literacy is concerned. So thanks very much for folks who are with me today from the Ashbury Senior Computer Community Center. We have the director, Wanda Davis, who's one of the longest serving members of the digital inclusion community in Cleveland. We have Rick Mosley and Angela Hill, who are both instructors for the center. Rick also does a lot of the technical work for the center. James Seward, who's been holding down the front desk as well as teaching for as long as I've been coming over there. And we don't have Lisa Hood's name on the screen, but Lisa Hood has been also a volunteer and then a staffer for the center for a long time. These are all folks who are leaders in the digital inclusion community in Cleveland. And so I appreciate your time today. I want to start by asking Wanda to talk about how the work of the center has changed since in the last 7 months.
Yeah, just let me say that I have to always go back to September. Our school session is on actually the CMSD School Center's academic calendar. And so our classes are based around that. So we actually started our 2020-2021 session in September. We started with 7 classes and everything was really going smoothly through the year, through the holidays, all the way up until March. Then in March, we had this group of about 50 students studying, learning, enjoying what they were doing, but everything had to stop suddenly because of COVID. Of course, it was a shocker for them, a shocker for us, because folks had got to know each other, loved their classes, wanted to be in class with their instructors, but we had to stop everything often suddenly. We were used to a physical teaching organization. We did some things on Zoom when we were making presentations to our classes, but we didn't have the students have to call in to us. So we had to make an immediate pivot and get these students trained because they were in the 4th session of our 5-week session and getting geared towards graduation in June. So we had to think about how can we continue to serve these students and get them ready and get a graduation going. So immediately we had to go remote. And remotely we called each student and let them know how to connect if they had a connection and if they had a device, and teach them how to actually learn Zoom and download it to the devices they had at home because we could have no physical contact. And so we immediately got busy and instructors start calling students, trying to make sure they can get on. But then, okay, the other problem was we had new students coming in that had no device, no connection. And so their training actually had to stop at that point. We can only call them on the phone and help them with the problem if they were having one. So that was disappointing to us because we wanted that whole cohort to graduate together. The ones that we were able to get through, we were able to finish their training. We actually introduced them to Zoom at that time. They were all able to actually join us. We had approximately about 50 students at the time, and I would say 80% of them were able to join us on Zoom and continue their education, complete their final lessons, and were able to join our graduation, drive-through graduation, first time for ASC 3 also, in June, on June 25th. At that time, they were given Spectrum laptops, which were donated to us from Spectrum, Charter Spectrum, and we handed them to them through the window. Fun time for them, but definitely devastating for us to be able to start like that. Fortunately now, some of the students that were displaced during that time, we are reopened in September to accommodate those students that we had to lose. We're hoping that doesn't happen again, but now we know we have to be a hybrid tech center. We have to first prepare our students how to learn online when they first enter the premises and get them ready in case this ever happens again. So our new normal now for the ASC Center will be a hybrid type a computer literacy program. Some students will be online and some people will be in physical space. We are practicing physical distancing is what we call it. And our center has been totally clean and wiped, and we have workstations. Each workstation is wiped when the student comes in and wiped when they leave out. So we're looking for going forward to having classes, much smaller classes too. We used to have a max of 12. Now we had to shrink the class size down to no more than 8. So COVID definitely made a great change in how we deliver our classes and how we're going to move forward.
Great. And I see that James and Lisa are back with us. I'm going to start with you guys, actually, since you're back. I'm going to unmute. Good. So the question I want to ask everybody is whether there's one thing in particular that you can point to that you learned about the importance of technology in your life, particularly about internet access, from the experience of the last 7 months and all the things that came with the COVID emergency. And that could be something that's within your work in the center or something personal, but just one thing that really became clear to you about internet access once we were all stuck with the change of life that we've all gone through. James, do you want to start off?
I think we may have lost James. We're going to start with Angela.
Okay, let's start with Angela.
Okay, hi. Thank you, Bill and Wanda. For me, the single most thing that I learned with this COVID is that without having internet connectivity, I would not be able to continue my tutoring business because I have a hybrid model and I had to pivot as well to be able to continue and deliver services and to be able to connect and see my family. So those are the most important things that having the internet has kept me moving forward with the things I need to do and staying connected with my family.
Rick?
Good morning again, everybody. Man, I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet, seriously, but just for the foremost, when all this stuff hit the fan with the corona, everything financially went into a tailspin, and then the unemployment stuff and all of that stimulus stuff kind of got tied up where if you didn't have the internet and then you basically navigated the website, sometimes you had to actually, you might not be able to sign in until 2 in the morning. That's how overwhelmed the system was. But luckily that I had that, and we had it at the center, able to help people be able to, put those claims in for their unemployment or pandemic insurance or whatever it was, because trying to do that by phone or something like that was a serious nightmare. Okay, and so yeah, it's just unfortunate that some people are still waiting for their first stimulus check or their first anything because they still don't have the internet at their home or whatever, and even the libraries and stuff, they got at one point where you couldn't even access it there. So just to double stress how I tell people every day that the internet is not just something you just have as an extra anymore. It's a necessity, just as if you like your any other utility or whatever that you need. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
So since Wanda is, I believe, off helping James and Lisa for a second, let's jump to the second question for you folks. Rick, what is the most important thing after this experience that you would want to see the community make happen for purposes of digital equity, digital inclusion in Cleveland?
Well, in some model areas that I've heard about where they had basically repeaters in that community that were, connected, to like the city. We have been to a couple places. I think one of the people from Japan or something said everyone had free internet there. That's been some years ago at one of our CYC meetings or something like that. But some, there's no reason, except for me thinking about the corporate greed situation about at one everyone not, having internet services where they could reach out, without leaving their home, be the spot near you, so that's the thing that always kind of goes through my mind, because a lot of people, especially with the elderly people and stuff like that, they are in a super culture shock right now, because they never was too keen on this internet and computer stuff anyway. And then nowadays you almost force feeding them where they have to have it between their social security or whatever income or utilities, whatever they have. So it's just, I used to be one of those guys that I wasn't going to be doing no internet, no direct deposit or none of that stuff either. But at least I had a chance to kind of slide into it over the last few years, instead of like the crash course, like, trying to get a 90-year-old person on a computer that ain't never been on there. They still think that things are going to blow up and kill you. But then you still need to be able, because some of the people over where I work at with the Benjamin Rose people and stuff like that, they really be on my mind, because that was their only outing that day. The transportation, they had the meal there, they took them on their little shopping outings and everything like that, and there was their socialization and everything. And then all of a sudden, they just cold turkey closed all that stuff down, and I don't know ever really kind of what happened with them. I think some of them still have some Meals on Wheels and stuff like that, but hopefully they'll be able to, since they got that new order that they were supposed to be able to start opening that stuff back up on the 21st of September. So hopefully that stuff will be addressed in a timely fashion with the elderly.
Angela, is there, if you were in the world, right, in Cleveland anyway, and there was one thing that you think really needs to be done to deal with the digital divide and digital equity, what's the first thing you would do?
Okay, in regards to that digital equity and the level of involvement that I am within the community and with ASC3, I think it's three things, but they're kind of interrelated. Number one, high level connectivity. They need to have accessibility to various devices, and then training on those devices in order to be able to go about their everyday lives, and to be able to be trained into classes that we teach. And again, just to stay connected, because that is what we're doing now and how we're going to continue and grow in the future. So having that high level connectivity, various devices, and being trained relatively to what they need, I think is the single most important.
So Wanda, we've been, I think you've been helping James and Lisa, right?
Yes.
So we've been talking about what's the most important single thing that Rick and Angela think should be done in Cleveland to deal with digital equity, either because of or, irrespective of the COVID crisis. So you want to tackle that?
Yeah, one of the things that for me, for the last couple of decades, has always been for Cleveland to have a coalition dedicated to making sure that digital equity is here in Cleveland, making sure that all of our residents have connection, have devices, have tech support, have digital literacy instruction to be able to actually enjoy their everyday lives the way we do, some of us, we take it for granted because we have these skills. We have more than one device in the home, and if one goes down, the other one, we can use the other one. Or if kids come over, we have enough bandwidth where our kids can enjoy being online in our homes. It's still as we had with the report, you know, city of Cleveland is still the worst connected, still the poorest. You know, I've heard these statistics maybe 3 times during these decades that we've been working in this digital literacy space and challenging the ISPs and leadership to assist us in making sure our folks are properly connected, have the device, and have the training and tech support needed for them to survive. And with the onset of the new technology, it's only growing. So we know the challenge for us is going to continue to be there. But the one thing that COVID did was that it made not just me and you, Bill, we've been doing this for years, it made a whole lot of other folks that we've been working with over the years to see that what we've been challenged with and what we've been trying to form is a cohesive digital equity group that will come together to try and ensure that the folks in Cleveland have the connectivity, the bandwidth, the literacy training, and the tech support needed for them to survive daily, to empower their own personal lives. This is our goal. That's what ASC's goal has been for years, is to empower our residents to be able to perform their personal needs using technology, because technology is where the things that they need live. You know, the e-government, the business, the telehealth, personal entertainment. Now, grocery shopping, you know, you can't go out. What if we get totally shut down again? So we continue to leave people behind. I believe the coalition that we have, thank goodness, with the leadership of Leon Wilson, the Cleveland Foundation, you, Bill, myself, and several others that have been working at this for years, we've got partners now that see what we see. They see the shortcomings, they understand. We know what happened with our CMSD school district. They're working hard to make the corrections they need to make. We're working with the ISPs. I'm talking with AT&T, Verizon, Spectrum, all the time, letting them know we still have a slow speed in this area. You know, what are you doing about that? We can't make them do them, but we still want to make sure we keep them accountable and let them know that we're still watching and our folks still need the help. So I'm looking for a future where our coalition is advocating with the state, with the city, the state, and federally, that we have a voice for the folks that we serve, and that we're going to make this change happen for the city of Cleveland.
Great. Well, so I'm very sorry that we lost James and Lisa to this, but that was a great summary. So I think I'm going to say Happy Digital Inclusion Week 2020 to everybody at the Ashbury Center, and thanks very much for participating.
Hey, thank
You're
you, Bill.
welcome.
Same to you.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Happy DIW 2020.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, you guys have a good day.
Okay, you too, and I'll catch you guys later.
All right, thank you.